What's the deal with superheroes? They sneak into your house and are all like, "Oh, Retro, stop playing God. Oh, Retro, stop experimenting on innocent bystanders. Oh, Retro, please stop killing me." You know, in the perfect world there would be no superheroes because those guys are just entitled pieces of shit.
Did somebody call for a hero?
Captain AK, what are you doing here?
I'm glad you asked, citizen. You see, I'm here to see a Mr. What was his name again? Oh yes, I'm here to see a Mr. Retro. And as it so happens, thwart his evil scheme.
But why?
Pardon?
Why are you here to thwart his scheme? How do you even know he's evil? Have you talked to the guy? He could be really cool.
Because he's evil. And I'm a good guy. It's what good guys do.
That sounds like a boring hobby. What else do you do for fun?
I run a mean game of poker.
So, Mr. Hero, what would you do if I were to say, I don't know, tell you that I was this Mr. Retro?
Then not only would I say that I'm here to stop you, but I'd also say I'm here to thwart your evil scheme for the last time, you vile villain. And also...
Blah, 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 justice. Blah, 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 tyranny. Blah, blah. Hey, what are you doing?
I am Retro. This is Retro Rips. Let's do this. If I were to describe My Hero Academia to anime fans, I would say it was like Naruto Part 1 done right. Just take away ninjas and substitute superheroes. If I were to describe it to somebody who's never seen Naruto before, My Hero Academia essentially is about the struggles between good and evil. And battles! Somehow this manga manages to simultaneously be one of the most entertaining manga of all time and one of the best written manga of all time. Just because the battle scenes are epic doesn't mean that the character interaction scenes don't have to be just as epic. It's about getting to meet the characters of the story, growing with them, and all the while becoming just as enthralled in the world as they are.
Enter Midoriya. He's our hero for this manga. And the first thing out of his mouth is the fact that he comes from a world of inequality. Our hero, ladies and gentlemen. Gotta love that never give up attitude. Midoriya explains that at some point a super awesome random Jesus baby of awesomeness appeared, and after that people with powers started showing up all over the planet. At that point people just decided, hey, we should just start using our powers for doing stuff, and most of it was villainy. And at some point people said, hey, we're tired of getting robbed by superhero crooks, so we're gonna go out and do something about it since the police force can't. After that, becoming a superhero kind of became a profession in this universe. An actual legitimate thing that you can do with your life.
Yes, because that's what everyone remembers about Star Wars. The politics. Yes. Enter Byakugo. He's a maniac. He's literally the most powerful freaking kid around. He literally has the power to blow things up with his fists. And for some reason he has this thing against Midoriya. A little later on in the manga it becomes a bit more clear why Byakugo feels this way about Midoriya, even though Midoriya is clearly inferior in every possible way to Byakugo. But until then he just comes off as a crazed lunatic who's got nothing to lose, and likes keeping the little guy down just for the hell of it. You're aspiring superhero, ladies and gentlemen.
We get taken to Midoriya's school, but really the only thing worth noting that we get introduced to here is Byakugo. And Byakugo is one hell of a crazy guy. But other than that, he's also a prodigy, genius, and overall the best hero in school. His dream is to get into UE, basically the equivalent of this universe's Harvard, so that he can become the greatest hero that ever lived who goes out and murders people. I'm not joking. His actual dialogue implies that he wants to go out there and kill every villain he meets. He's quite the psychopath. But here's the kicker. Byakugo's the kind of dick who, even though he could easily get into Harvard himself, he doesn't want you to get into Harvard, so he's gonna be a dick to you and destroy all of your dreams of getting in there just so you never aspire to do so. Yeah, he takes Midoriya's book and burns it to a crisp, that which he was using to compile all the data he'd ever stored on superheroes. To put things in perspective, this thing was basically the embodiment of Midoriya's hopes and dreams of ever becoming a superhero. Dick move, Byakugo. Dick move.
How would I describe Midoriya? He's a pussy. Though that's not really his fault, he's born into a world where not everyone is created equal. In his case, he just happens to be the one motherfucker on Earth who don't got a quirk. Sucks to be you, kid. Tough luck of the draw. Should've just made your own superpowers like I did.
After the Byakugo incident, we learned that Midoriya has had quite a long history with this whole not having superpowers thing and feeling bad about himself because of it. Turns out that Midoriya has wanted to be a superhero his entire life, and that ever since he was younger than 4 years old, he knew that he wanted to be a superhero when he grew up. But when he came to be of age to inherit his superpowers, he never got them. So, he kinda got screwed over. How heartbreaking is it that even when he asks his mom if he can be a superhero when he grows up without any powers, all she can do is hug him and say, "I'm sorry, baby," but no. That's just the freaking saddest thing I've ever heard. Feeling like pure crap after his day of school, Midoriya continues on home when all of a sudden he finds himself in literally quite the stickiest of situations when, out of nowhere, a muck monster attacks him. All seems lost, and he almost thinks he's gonna die, but he's saved by the world's greatest hero, All Might. All Might says he's off and that Midoriya should stay in school and blah blah blah, all that gobbledygook and blah. But Midoriya's not having any of it. He just wants to know from All Might himself whether he thinks if a powerless guy could ever be a hero like he is.
Enter All Might. He's what happens when you cross pure manliness with pure epicness. If Superman and Goku had a love child, somehow, they still wouldn't be as awesome as All Might is. His whole bit is that he's a shriveled old man who got an old battle wound a long time ago, who's basically broken, but he could still use this amazing, awesome strength at times. Kinda like when a guy tries to puff out his chest at the pool even though he's a piece of shit, is exactly how it's put in the manga. Not gonna lie, every time I see this guy in the manga, I instantaneously transform into a schoolgirl and squee with joy. The philosophy, the raw power. Excuse me while I salivate.
Not wanting to lead the kid on, All Might gives him the straight business. No, he doesn't think he could ever be a superhero without any powers, especially given the fact that he, All Might, the most powerful hero of all heroes, has been mortally wounded in recent years and is looking to get out of the hero game. He just doesn't think it's a safe enough place for somebody who doesn't have any powers at all. Meanwhile, the sludge monster who managed to escape All Might when he wasn't looking has taken over Byakugo. As funny as it might sound, Midoriya just happens to randomly come across it on his way home while deep in thought. He doesn't even notice that he finds the sludge monster at first.
Wait, what? How did he not notice the huge-ass freaking muck monster rampaging around town? Bullshit! Kid, if you're so stuck in your head that you can't even see a rampaging muck monster going around town possessing one of your friends from school, you got problems.
Powers or no powers, when Midoriya sees that Byakugo is in mortal danger, his legs just spring into action. It doesn't take him long before he reaches a sludge monster, but thankfully, All Might's there to back him up. He says that even though he's reached his limit, that he was willing to give it all just because Midoriya risked it all himself. He says that before, he had lost what it meant to be a true hero, but he was willing to find it now again thanks to Midoriya. He says to Midoriya at the end of the chapter that he was wrong, that he does have what it takes to be a hero.
Good job, Midoriya. You totally saved the day. Except that you didn't. And I'm okay with that. My Hero Academia is one of the greatest things I've read in a long time, and this first chapter is no exception to that. From the very moment you pick up this manga to read, you won't stop until it's finished. Or if you do stop, you'll pick it up again, because it's that freaking good. Also, I hear there's an anime coming out next year, so if you're one of those kinds of people who wants to wait for that, there's that option too. But we're not done with My Hero Academia quite yet. I still want to do at least 2 more chapters because that's how long it takes to get the entire feel of the setup for this manga. If you want to see more than that, make sure to comment below. I am Retro, this is Retro Rips. Peace. Ah!